Radhe Radhe. Jai Shri Krishna. Bringing for you Bhagavad Gita Saar, the essence of Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a timeless spiritual guide that has inspired millions across the world. It is not just a sacred text, but a manual for life. Hovering through life during any challenges or difficulties, solving them with a spiritual approach, addressing the dilemmas and questions we all face in any situation. In today's fast-paced world, the holy teachings of the Bhagavad Gita help us find balance, purpose, and inner peace. This audio on Bhagavad Gita Saar presents the essence of the Bhagavad Gita in a very simplified form, making its profound teachings accessible to everyone. Whether you are new to the Bhagavad Gita or have studied it before, this concise version will help you reflect on the eternal wisdom of life, action, practicality, and spirituality. Chapter 1, Dilemma. The concept of dilemma or Dharma Sankat plays a crucial role in the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to the difficult situation in which Arjuna, the great warrior, finds himself on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. As the war between the Pandavas and Kauravas is about to begin, Arjuna stands conflicted, facing a profound moral and emotional struggle with inner depression. His heart is heavy as he looks across the battlefield and sees his family members, beloved teachers, and close friends on the opposing side, all ready to fight. Arjuna's inner turmoil is just not about fighting a war, it's about the ethical and emotional burden that comes with it. On the other hand, his duty as a warrior or a Kshatriya Dharma demands that he fight in this righteous battle for justice and truth. On the other hand, his compassion, love, and attachment to his relatives make him question the very act of war. He begins to wonder whether the loss of lives, the destruction of families, and the pain caused by war can ever be justified, even that be for a noble cause. This conflict makes Arjuna question his role and purpose. He is overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness, confusion, and sorrow, leading him to put down his bow and arrows, the Gandhi, and refusing to fight. In this moment of weakness, he seeks guidance from Lord God, Shri Krishna, who becomes his spiritual teacher. Arjuna's dilemma is not just his own, but symbolizes the universal human experience of facing difficult, conflicting choices. It is a reflection of the moments in our lives when our responsibilities and duties are in direct conflict with our emotions and attachments. Whether It is in our personal relationships, professional lives, or moral choices, we all encounter situations where the right decision is clouded by our feelings and desires. Arjun's dilemma reminds us that life is full of such crossroads where we must choose between what is easy and what is right. Through his journey, we learn the importance of seeking wisdom, clarity, and a higher perspective when facing tough decisions. Arjun's Dharma Sankat also emphasizes the need for detachment and divine understanding of our higher purpose in life. It shows that while emotions are natural, we must not let them dictate our actions when we have a larger duty to fulfill. By understanding this dilemma of Arjun, we begin to appreciate the wisdom that the Bhagavad Gita offers in resolving life's conflicts and finding peace in making the right choice, no matter how challenging it may be. Chapter 2, Knowledge. The concept of knowledge, Gyan, in the Bhagavad Gita is far deeper than just intellectual understanding. In this sacred text, knowledge refers to the realization of the ultimate truth and understanding of one's true self. Arjun, still struggling with his inner conflict, seeks answer from Lord God Krishna, who reveals the path of knowledge as a way to overcome doubt, confusion, and ignorance. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord God Krishna explains that true knowledge is just not knowing the material world but also understanding the eternal self, the Atman, which is beyond the body and mind. This knowledge frees an individual from the cycles of birth and death. By realizing that the soul is indestructible, invincible, eternal, and not limited by physical existence, no one can rise above the attachments and fears that dominate our daily lives. Krishna further elaborates that real wisdom lies in discerning the difference between the temporary and the permanent, the material and the spiritual. The body is mortal, subject to decay and death over a period of time, but the soul, the Atman, is immortal. Recognizing this truth helps one stay grounded in the midst of challenges, free from fear and sorrow. Knowledge in this sense is not mere information or learning, it is the profound understanding that comes from spiritual insight. Additionally, Shri Krishna teaches that knowledge is tied to selfless action, that is, Nishkam Karma. It is not just enough to simply know, one must truly apply this knowledge by performing one's duties without attachment to the results. This form of divine wisdom transforms action into a path of liberation where one acts with awareness, humility, and dedication. In this modern world, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita on knowledge reminds us that true wisdom goes beyond books or external success. It is about knowing who we really are. Recognizing the transient nature of the material world and aligning ourselves with the eternal divine supreme truth. higher knowledge, we can navigate life's challenges with a calm mind and a steady, pure heart, free from illusions of fear, greed, attachment, and delusions of the visible material world, and not be influenced by Maya. Chapter 3, Karma. Action or karma is one of the core teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna explains to Arjuna that action is unavoidable and no one can live without performing some form of action. Every person is constantly engaged in action, whether it is physical, mental or emotional. Choosing not to act is in itself a form of action. The essence of Sri Krishna's teaching lies in how we approach these actions. Sri Krishna lovingly emphasizes that the key to action is not just doing it, but doing it with the right mindset. Selfless action or nishkam karma is performing one's duty without attachment to the outcome. Doing one's duty wholeheartedly without attaching your mind to its results. Sri Krishna teaches that while it is essential to fulfill one's responsibilities, one should not be overly attached to the results. When people act with selfish motives, they get bound by the results, leading to either joy or disappointment, that is, rag or dvesh, based on success or failure. However, acting without expecting anything in return liberates the individual and brings supreme divine peace in life. Shri Krishna further explains that one must act according to their dharma or duty. Arjuna, as a warrior, is reminded that his duty is to fight in the righteous war regardless of the outcome. By performing action with detachment from personal gain, one can overcome the bondage of karma and attain supreme spiritual growth. Detachment does not mean inaction. Rather, it means doing your duties without being swayed by success or failure which may arise from your duties. Beloved, Shri Krishna also teaches that all actions should be done as an offering to a higher purpose or divine will, that is, God's will, Parabrahman's divine will. When work is done as an act of devotion, it becomes a means of attaining liberation, moksha. Thus, even mundane tasks can become spiritual when performed with the right intention. This transforms life's everyday actions into steps on the path toward spiritual fulfillment. In today's world, the teachings on action remind us that while we cannot always control the outcomes, we can control how we perform our duties, whether in our jobs, personal relationships, or goals, acting with sincerity and without attachment to the results helps us live with peace and balance. It allows us to remain steady through life's ups and downs, free from the anxieties that come from obsessing over outcomes. The Bhagavad Gita shows that true freedom comes not from avoiding action, but from acting with a calm, focused mind, detached from the results. Chapter 4, Selflessness. Selflessness or Nishkam is a profound teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to performing actions without any expectation of reward or personal gain. Lord God, Shri Krishna emphasizes to Arjuna that the highest form of action is done selflessly, purely for the sake of duty, dharma, without attachment to the outcome. This form of righteous action leads to liberation and inner peace. In our daily lives, most actions are driven by desire, whether for success, recognition, name, fame, wealth, prestige, status, position, power, or any kind of personal fulfillment. However, Sri Krishna teaches that when we act with selfish motives, we get entangled in the cycles of success and failure, happiness and disappointment, which results in lack of equanimity. Our happiness becomes dependent on external results, making us vulnerable to stress and anxiety. But through selflessness, we rise above these emotional fluctuations and perform actions simply because they are the right things to do. Selflessness also involves understanding that we are not the ultimate doers, but just divine instruments in the hands of God. According to the Bhagavad Gita, it is the divine energy within us, the Atman, the soul, that is the true actor. When we surrender our ego, our personal desires, and really act with the consciousness that we are instruments of a higher purpose, we align ourselves with the divine will to accomplish the divine purpose and the divine plan of the Supreme Being. This brings a sense of peace and contentment, regardless of success or failure in worldly terms. Sri Krishna also explains that selflessness is a path to freedom from bondage of karma. When we act with selfish desires, we accumulate karma knowingly or unknowingly, which therefore binds us to the cycles of birth and rebirth. But by acting without attachment to the results, we break free from this cycle. However, this is not to suggest that one should become passive, cold, or indifferent to their duties. Rather, it means doing what needs to be done with full dedication but without getting caught in the desire for personal gain. In a very practical sense, selflessness can be seen in acts of service, helping others compassionately without expecting anything in return. This is a supreme form of compassion, divine love, and divine mercy. It encourages us to focus on the well being of others, knowing that true satisfaction comes from contributing to the greater good and thereby achieving the divine plan with immense blessings. Whether in personal relationships, work, or social responsibilities, acting with selflessness brings about harmony, fulfillment, and spiritual growth. The profound teachings of the Bhagavad Gita on selflessness reminds us that living a life of divine purpose means going beyond the self, beyond personal ambitions, and connecting with something larger, greater, and more divine. It is through selfless action that we can find lasting eternal happiness and make a meaningful, positive impact in the world we live. Chapter 5. Renunciation. Renunciation or sannyasa is one of the profound concepts discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to the act of giving up attachment to the negative worldly desires and fruits of such actions. However, renunciation in the Bhagavad Gita does not mean abandoning all actions or responsibilities that you have. Instead, Sri Krishna explains that true renunciation is giving up the attachment to the outcomes of one's actions and not the actions themselves. That means one has to do the dharma and the karma that he or she is supposed to do, but not bound with its outcomes. Shri Krishna clearly teaches Arjuna that renunciation is not about physically withdrawing from the world or neglecting one's duties. Rather, it's about mental detachment. A person can continue to fulfill their duties whether as a householder, a worker, a warrior, a business person, or a spiritual seeker, but without selfish desires or attachment to success or failure or any sort of expectations. This form of mental renunciation is called karma sannyas, where one continues to act but without ego and personal expectations. This is true freedom. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna highlights that renunciation and action are not opposing paths. In fact, Karma Yoga, the path of selfless action, is closely tied to renunciation. A true renunciant is one who performs all their duties, fulfills all their responsibilities while maintaining inner detachment. This approach allows a person to remain balanced, equanimous, unaffected by the ups and downs of life, the inner turmoil, and free from the anxieties that comes from obsessing over results. Renunciation also involves surrendering the ego to the God, surrendering to Shri Krishna. That is what Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama means. That I surrender myself, my ego, my everything to God Shri Krishna. When we realize that we are not the ultimate doers, but only divine instruments of a higher divine will, we free ourselves from the burden of personal ambition and pride. This holy surrender leads to inner peace and spiritual freedom. Renunciation, therefore, is not about avoiding any responsibilities, but embracing them with a mindset of true humility and supreme devotion to God. In modern life, renunciation can be practiced by letting go of the constant desire for control, domination, and such kind of success. One can just flow through the life by being a divine instrument, yet fulfill all the duties and responsibilities that he or she has or has to do. It means and points at living an intensely extraordinary life, but with a surrender. Just like how Shri Krishna lived his life intensely, profoundly, wholeheartedly, but he was never attached to the outcomes, merits, or results. It teaches us to act with full effort and sincerity, but without being attached to the outcomes, whether in work, relationships, or personal goals. When we renounce the need for validation or reward, we experience greater freedom, clarity, and peace of mind. Obviously, you can do such kind of positive karma which will make you victorious like Shri Krishna, but without expecting it. The Bhagavad Gita shows that true renunciation lies not in rejecting the world, not in negating anybody or a self, but in embracing life with a spirit of selflessness and a spirit of detachment. Chapter 6, Meditation. Meditation or dhyana is a powerful practice described in the Bhagavad Gita as a means to connect with the inner divine self and attain supreme spiritual growth. Shri Krishna teaches Arjuna that meditation is a path to inner peace, self-realization, God realization, and ultimate liberation, moksha, mukti, and nirvana. Through meditation, one learns to control the mind, which is often restless and distracted by worldly desires. Shri Krishna emphasizes that the mind, when left uncontrolled, can become a source of suffering. It constantly pulls us in different directions towards desires, fears, and distractions. However, through consistent meditation on the right path and making God as our center point of meditation, we can still the mind, bringing it to a state of focus and peace. with prolonged awareness. This helps us to rise above the turbulence of emotions and thoughts, allowing us to experience a deeper sense of clarity and calmness. Meditation is not just about sitting in silence, but about developing self-discipline, awareness, and focus with clarity. Shri Krishna explains that for meditation to be effective, one must create the right environment, finding a quiet place, sitting in a comfortable and steady posture, and focusing on the breath or a point of concentration. Over time, this practice brings the mind under control of the soul, leading to greater self-awareness and unwavering connection to the divine. Meditation and spirituality are just not ways of life, but a supreme part of life, a supreme center of life, where the soul can emerge into God consciousness. In the Bhagavad Geeta, meditation is also described as a way to achieve divine equanimity, the ability to remain calm and balanced in all situations. Whether in success or failure, joy or sorrow, meditation helps one maintain inner stability. By practicing mindfulness and meditation regularly, one learns to observe the mind without being carried away by its thoughts and emotions. Shri Krishna also explains that meditation is very essential for realizing the true self, the Atman, for soul realization and for God realization. By turning the focus inward and going through the inner journey through meditation, one can experience the divine presence within and understand the unity between the individual self and the universal consciousness, which is profoundly divine and infinite. This leads to a state of oneness and spiritual enlightenment. In today's fast-paced world, meditation offers a way to step back from the constant noise and stress of daily life. It allows us to reconnect with our inner peace and regain control over our thoughts and emotions. Meditation is not just a tool for spiritual growth, but also a way to improve mental clarity, develop clearness in the inner world, reduce stress, and live a more balanced and fulfilled life with happiness. The teachings of the Bhagavad Gita remind us that through meditation we can find the enormous divine strength and calmness needed to navigate life challenges and reach a higher state of being and higher levels of consciousness, to operate with greater equanimity and peace. Chapter 7, Absolute. The concept of the Absolute or Param in the Bhagavad Gita refers to the ultimate reality, the highest truth, that transcends all dualities and limitations of the material world as well as the inner world. Sri Krishna reveals to Arjuna that the Absolute is the unchanging, eternal presence that pervades everything in the universe. It is beyond time, space, and the physical world. It is the supreme source from which everything arises and into which everything eventually returns. Sri Krishna explains that the Absolute can be understood as the Brahman, the supreme consciousness that is present in all beings and all things. It is the ultimate reality that is beyond the senses and the mind. While the material world is constantly changing and temporary, the Absolute remains permanent and unchanging. The Bhagavad Gita teaches that by understanding and realizing this Absolute, one can transcend the illusions of the physical world and attain liberation or moksha. The Absolute is not just a distant abstract concept. According to Sri Krishna, it is both transcendent and immanent. It exists beyond the world, but also within everything. The Atman, that is, the soul within each individual, is a reflection of the absolute reality. To realize the Absolute is to understand that the same divine essence or the divine nectar exists within ourselves and all of the creation. Sri Krishna also highlights that the Absolute can be experienced through devotion, that is bhakti bhav, knowledge, divya gyan, and meditation, that is dhyana. Those who seek to understand the true nature of the universe and their own soul can connect with this ultimate reality by looking beyond the superficial differences of the world and recognizing the unity in all things. This realization leads to a state of divine oneness with the Supreme God and all the souls, where the individual self emerges into God consciousness and merges with the infinite divine consciousness. The teachings of the Bhagavad Gita on the Absolute remind us that all the distinctions we see in the world, success and failure, joy and sorrow, life and death, are a part of larger eternal reality. By connecting with the Absolute, we can move beyond these dualities and experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that is not dependent on the changing circumstances of life. In practical terms, the understanding of the Absolute helps us find deeper meaning and divine purpose in life. The divine purpose, to be a divine servant of God and be a divine instrument of light, love and power and manifest the God's divine plan on earth. It encourages us to look beyond the temporary pleasures and pains of the material world and focus on the eternal truth that lies within. Practical teachings states that we have to balance spirituality and practicality, balance spiritual development with the material or financial development. Through this realization, we are able to live with greater wisdom, compassion, mercy and clarity knowing that we are part of something far greater than ourselves, that is God and the divine providence. Chapter 8, Eternal. The concept of eternal or Shashwat is one of the central themes of the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to the timeless and unchanging nature of the soul and the ultimate reality that underlies all of the existence. According to Sri Krishna, while the physical body is temporary and subject to birth, decay and death, the soul, the Atman, is eternal, indestructible, invincible, and beyond the reach of time and destruction. Sri Krishna explains to Arjuna that neither is the eternal soul born nor does it die. It cannot be cut by weapons, burned by fire, or destroyed by any means. It transcends the physical world, existing beyond the cycles of life and death that govern the material realm or the material world. This realization of the soul's eternal nature brings moksha from cycle of reincarnation, that is samsara, where the soul is bound to take birth repeatedly due to attachment and karma. Understanding the eternal nature of the soul changes one's perspectives on life. Instead of being attached to the temporary pleasures and pains of the material world, one can cultivate a deeper sense of peace by recognizing the impermanence of the physical body and worldly experiences. Sri Krishna encourages Arjuna to rise above the transient emotions of joy and sorrow, success and failure, and view life through the lens of eternity. Seeing life through the lens of eternity, eyes of heaven or divine providence, brings the mindset towards divine strength and resilience. The eternal also refers to the Brahman, the ultimate, unchanging reality that pervades the entire universe. While the material world is constantly changing, filled with the beginnings and the endings, the Brahman remains constant. The eternal Brahman is the foundation of everything, and by understanding and connecting with this eternal truth, one can attain lasting peace and happiness. In practical terms, the idea of the eternal teaches us to focus on what truly matters in life, that is, the divine purpose and the divine plan. It encourages us to look beyond the temporary and superficial aspects of existence and connect with a deeper, timeless, eternal divine truth within ourselves. By realizing that our true essence is eternal, we can free ourselves from all fears, anxiety, and attachment to the material world, yet live an intensely extraordinary life by being present in the material world. In this material world, being present in it, we can accomplish the divine plan by following the righteous path stated by God Sri Krishna. This realization brings a sense of purpose and helps us navigate through life's challenges with a calm and steady mind. In today's world where everything is in a state of flux, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita reminds us that the eternal truth within us never ever changes. By anchoring and rooting ourselves in this eternal essence, we can find stability in the midst of life's uncertainties and move towards spiritual growth, enlightenment, and divine fulfillment, which is the truest goal of the Atman. Chapter 9, Secret. The secret or Raj Guhya, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, refers to the highest and most profound knowledge that is hidden from ordinary understanding but revealed to those who are ready to receive it. Shri Krishna, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, shares many teachings with Arjuna, but the supreme secret knowledge refers to the ultimate truth about life, the universe, and the divine. It is the knowledge that leads to liberation and realization of one's true self. Shri Krishna explains that this secret is not something that can be grasped through intellectual efforts alone. It is a spiritual truth that must be realized within through the inward journey or inner journey. The secret lies in understanding the nature of the soul, the impermanent nature of the material world, and the eternal relationship between the individual soul and the supreme being, that is the Paramatman. Shri Krishna reveals that the greatest secret is that God or the divine consciousness is ever present in every aspect of the universe and truly resides within each one of us. To access this secret, one must cultivate divine faith, divine gratitude, divine respect, divine reverence, divine devotion, divine surrender, samarpan, and sharanagati to Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna emphasizes that those who approach him with a pure heart, free from ego and attachment, can unlock this secret and experience divine knowledge. It is only through complete devotion, surrender, samarpan and sharanagati to the divine will that one can gain insight into this hidden wisdom. This secret knowledge is a key to understanding the ultimate purpose of life and the path to true peace and fulfillment. Shri Krishna describes this knowledge as the king of all the knowledge, the highest, most valuable, and most transformative. It is the knowledge that reveals the unity of all existence and helps one rise above the illusions and distractions of the material world. Those who possess this divine secret knowledge are no longer bound by the dualities of life, such as pleasure and pain, success and failure, joy and sorrow, or any kind of positivity and negativity. They always live in a state of equanimity and inner peace, understanding the deeper meaning of existence. In the Holy Bhagavad Gita, this secret is also linked to self-realization and the understanding that the self is not the body, nor the mind, nor the emotions, but the eternal soul, the Atma. When one realizes this truth that he or she, the being, is not the body, nor the emotions, nor the thoughts, but the soul, using the mind as a divine instrument to accomplish the divine plan, one is freed from the cycle of birth and death and can experience the ultimate union with the divine. The other truth is that the soul is an infinite being of infinite divine consciousness, made of infinite divine intelligence, infinite divine love, and infinite divine power of God, belonging to God and only God. In today's world, this secret can be interpreted as the realization that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from external achievements or possessions. By turning inward and connecting with the divine essence within, the divine nectar, we can discover the deeper divine purpose of life and live with wisdom, peace, and contentment. The Pavitra Bhagavad Gita teaches that this secret knowledge is accessible to one and all who seek it with sincerity, respect, gratitude, reverence, love, faith, devotion, samarpan and sharanagati to the golden lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Chapter 10, Glory. The concept of glory or vibhuti in the Bhagavad Gita refers to the divine manifestations of the Supreme Being in all aspects of creation. Shri Krishna explains to Arjun that everything extraordinary, powerful and magnificent in the universe is a reflection of his divine glory. Whether it's the brilliance of the sun, the majesty of the mountains, or the wisdom of the great sages, all such wonders are expressions of Shri Krishna's divine power and divine creativity. Shri Krishna emphasizes that his vibhuti is present in both the material and spiritual worlds, revealing itself through various forms and attributes. He lists examples such as being the life force in all beings, the intelligence in the wise, the love in the compassionate, the divine strength and the power in the strong, and the purity in those who seek the divine truth. These examples highlight the idea that the divine is not distant or removed from the world, but is actively present in every part of creation without exception. The understanding of the divine glory helps one see the sacred in everything around them It encourages an appreciation for the beauty, strength, and wisdom that exists in the world, recognizing these qualities as expressions of the divine. When we look at the world through this lens, every element of nature, every talent or achievement becomes a reminder of the omnipresence of the divine. Sri Krishna's teaching on glory emphasizes the interconnectedness and divine oneness of all the things. The diversity of life, with its countless forms and abilities, is all part of the same divine source. This divine realization leads to a deeper sense of respect and reverence for life in all its forms, as each is a manifestation of the same divine energy of Sri Krishna. However, Sri Krishna also points out that the Vibhuti is only a fraction of his true infinite nature. The universe itself, with all its wonders, is just a very small expression of the vastness of the Supreme Being. This teaches us true humility and develop self-esteem, as it reminds us that while we can see glimpses of the divine through these manifestations, the ultimate reality goes beyond what we can fully comprehend through the rational mind. In practical terms, understanding the concept of glory helps us cultivate infinite gratitude and truest humility and balanced, healthy self-esteem and positive self-image. It reminds us that the talents and abilities we have are not solely our own, but are divine gifts of the divine from the God. This understanding helps us act without ego and develop a sense of responsibility to use our abilities for the greater good, be of divine service to God, to our Sadguru, and to all the beings with compassion, lots of love, lots of mercy, achieve the divine plan and also help others achieve the divine plan. By recognizing the divine glory in ourselves and others, we also foster universal compassion, realizing that everyone carries a spark of the divine within them. That is, Krishna Tattva within each and every being. This leads to more harmonious relationships and a deeper connection with the world around us. Ultimately, Sri Krishna's message is that by recognizing the Vibhuti in all things, we can live with greater sense of purpose and alignment with the divine will. Chapter 11, Vision. The concept of vision or darshan in the Bhagavad Gita represents the deeper ability to perceive the true nature of reality and the divine. It is not merely physical side, but the spiritual insight that reveals the essence of existence. In chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita, God Shri Krishna grants Arjun the divine vision and clairvoyance, clairaudience, and clairsentience to witness his universal form and all-encompassing view of his infinite nature, that is, the Vishwarupam Shri Krishna, the Parabrahman. This vision is a profound moment where Arjun realizes that the divine is present everywhere and in everything. Arjun sees Shri Krishna as the creator, sustainer and destroyer of the universe, transcending all time and all space. This universal form includes countless aspects representing the totality of creation, which Arjun could not have perceived with ordinary human eyes, but only through the Divya Chakshu granted to him by God Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna explains that this vision requires divine grace and cannot be attained through regular senses or intellectual efforts. The granting of this vision serves as a pivotal moment in the Bhagavad Gita, as it gives Arjun a direct experience of the ultimate reality, which is beyond the material world or the visible physical world. This divine vision teaches that the divine is infinite, unchanging, and ever present beyond the limitations of human understanding. It reveals the interconnectedness of all beings and the unity of creation, showing that everything is a part of divine will and divine purpose. This divine vision is not only about seeing the greatness of God, but also about understanding the fleeting nature of the material world. Through this experience, Arjun learns that life, death, and everything in between are a part of grand cosmic divine plan. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes that once one gains this higher vision, they can rise above their personal dilemmas and fears, understanding their divine role in the larger scheme of things, in accomplishment of the divine purpose and manifesting light, love, and power on earth. In today's context, vision can be understood as the ability to see beyond surface level appearances and grasp the deeper truths of life. It requires cultivating inner clarity and wisdom to perceive the divine in all aspects of existence. By developing spiritual vision, we understand to navigate life with greater awareness, the unity in diversity, and eternal presence of the divine everywhere, unconditionally and without exception. True vision brings about inner transformation. It changes the way we view ourselves, others, and the world around us. We begin to see beyond the temporary successes and failures, beyond the illusions and delusions of the material world and understand the eternal truths that guide all existence. With this spiritual vision, one can live a life of divine purpose, divine peace, and divine alignment with the God, the ultimate source, the one and all, Shri Krishna. Chapter 12, Devotion. Devotion or bhakti is a central theme in the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to the deep, unconditional love and permanent, complete surrender to the divine. In the Bhagavad Gita, God Shri Krishna explains to Arjun that devotion is one of the highest and supreme paths to the realization of the Supreme Being. Through devotion, a person can transcend ego, selfish desires, and material attachments, achieving a complete union with the divine. This is what Shri Krishna means from Brahmacharya. Union with divine is what is the meaning of true Brahmacharya. Always living in divine union with God. True devotion is selfless and pure. It is not about seeking personal gains or rewards, but about offering oneself fully to God with trust and faith, gratitude, respect and reverence. Devotion is about seeing the divine in all aspects of life, understanding that every action, thought and feeling can be an offering to the divine. Shri Krishna explains that one can approach God through various paths, including knowledge, that is Gyan, meditation, that is Dhyan, and the action, that is Karma. But devotion, that is Bhakti, is unique because it involves the surrender of one's entire self, one's entire heart, mind, body, and soul to God. And allowing God to take over and flow through you. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna reassures Arjun that anyone can follow the path of devotion regardless of their background or qualifications. What matters is sincerity, diligence, and profound love. Shri Krishna says that even offering a simple leaf, flower, fruit, or water with supreme devotion is accepted by the divine. This illustrates that God does not demand grand, glorious gestures or material offerings, but values the intent and love behind every action. Devotion also means having unwavering faith in the divine plan. Even in moments of hardship, sorrow, or confusions, a devotee remains steadfast, trusting that everything is happening for a higher purpose. This does not need to be superstitious or blind believed, but having an open mind and a heart of faith, and this faith leads to peace as the devotee no longer feels the need to control or worry about the future. Instead, they trust in the divine will, knowing that God's grace is always ever present. The beauty of devotion lies in its simplicity. It does not require elaborate rituals or complex knowledge. It is accessible to everyone, and it creates a direct personal relationship with the divine. Through devotion, one can experience the profound bliss, divine ecstasy, and supreme joy of being in constant connection with God, feeling the divine presence in every moment gifted to us in the form of life. Sri Krishna emphasizes that the path of devotion is open to one and all, and those who walk it are always protected and cared for by the divine. This is a path of surrender, and it cultivates qualities like true humility, proper self-esteem, patience, love, mercy, kindness, compassion, benevolence to a greater level. It develops truest noble qualities, that is Ananta Divya Chaitanya Sadgun in the devotee. It transforms the devotee's heart, leading to a life of divine service, kindness, and spiritual fulfillment by spiritually uplifting others through divine service. By being really compassionate, kind, and merciful at maximum towards all sentient beings. In essence, devotion is the complete dedication of oneself to God. It is not bound by rituals or dogma or any superstitions, but it is a natural expression of love and surrender. Through devotion, one experiences the ultimate peace and joy of divine union with God and divine oneness with all. Chapter 30, Field in the Bhagavad Gita. The concept of the field or kshetra holds profound philosophical significance. It refers to the body and the material world in which all actions take place. In chapter 13, Shri Krishna describes the field or kshetra as the physical realm of existence, which includes not just the human body but also the entire external world, everything that can be perceived by the senses and is subject to change. The field presents and represents the temporary material aspects of life which are ever changing. It states that nothing is permanent in the material world. It is the place where the soul or the true self, the Kshetrajna, resides and experiences various events and emotions in the journey of life. Sri Krishna explains that while the field is transient and subject to birth, growth, decay, and death, the soul, the Atman, is eternal and unchanging. The body is just like a vessel or an instrument, and the soul is the witness or knower of the field and the driver of this instrument called as the body. Sri Krishna makes a clear distinction between the field and the knower of the field, that is, difference between Kshetra and the Kshetrajna. The body and the world are ever changing and impermanent, but the soul remains the constant observer, the constant witness of all actions, desires, thoughts, feelings, and emotions and experiences without being affected by them. Understanding this separation between the field and the knower of the field is a key to spiritual wisdom. Krishna also explains that true knowledge comes from recognizing that the physical body and the material world are not the ultimate reality. The field is just a stage for life's experiences, and attachment to it leads to pain, sorrow, and suffering. The wise person understands that the body is a temporary vehicle and that the real essence of life lies in the eternal soul. The field is also the place of action where desires, thoughts, feelings, emotions, and physical experiences play out. It is the battleground of life where karma unfolds. However, a person who is spiritually awakened understands that they are not the body but the eternal soul controlling it. By realizing this, one can act in the world without attachment, understanding that all actions are part of the natural processes of the field, but the soul remains untouched and pure always. In today's world, the concept of the field can be seen as the recognition that the material world is temporary and that our true self is beyond the physical. We live and operate in the field, that is the physical body, but the spiritual wisdom comes from knowing that we are not defined by it. This knowledge brings inner peace, liberation, and freedom from the fear of death or change, as the soul is always beyond these temporal conditions. Chapter 40. Gunas. The concept of gunas, gun or qualities, is central to understanding human nature, psychology, and behavior as explained in the Bhagavad Geeta by Shri Krishna. The gunas are the three fundamental forces that constitute all of existence and influence everything in the material world. These are sattva, that is purity and harmony, Rajas, that is passion and activity, and the third, that is tamas, ignorance and inertia. Every individual and object in the universe is governed by a combination of these three gunas, and the interaction determines one's thoughts, emotions, actions, and spiritual growth. Sattva, the first gun, represents purity, wisdom, and divine light. It is associated with qualities like calmness, selflessness, and clarity of mind. When sattva is dominant, a person tends to be peaceful, virtuous, and always driven by a desire to do good without expecting rewards. A person who is sattva dominant is of goodwill and the will to do good to everybody. Sattva leads to knowledge and enlightenment, making it essential for spiritual progress. However, even sattva, though the highest of the three, can bind a person to attachment if one becomes overly attached to goodness or a desire for spiritual superiority. So here Sattva talks about balancing the aspects of life. Rajas, the second gun, represents passion, energy and desire. It is the force that drives action and ambition, but is often fueled by selfish motives. Rajas is associated with qualities like restlessness, dissatisfaction, and constant pursuit of pleasure or success. While Rajas is necessary for action and change, an excess of Rajas Tattva leads to attachment, stress, pain, sorrow, and suffering as it binds individuals to the fruits of their actions. People influenced by Rajas Tattva are driven by desires and ego, constantly seeking recognition, power and material gains. Tamas, the third gun, symbolizes darkness, ignorance, inactivity and inertia. It is characterized by laziness, confusion and a lack of motivation. Tamas Tattva causes illusion, delusion, leading to ignorance and misjudgment. When tamas dominates, it clouds the mind, making a person sluggish, indifferent, or prone to harmful habits. It is the lowest of the three gunas, pulling individuals into inertia, ignorance, and a cycle of unawareness. Overcoming tamas is crucial for personal growth and spiritual awakening. Shri Krishna explains in the Bhagavad Geeta that these three gunas are always in a state of flux within every individual. They compete with each other for dominance, and the quality of one's life depends on which guna is predominant at any given time and any given situation. The supreme goal of any spiritual practice is to rise above the influence of the gunas and achieve a state of transcendence and equilibrium where the soul is no longer affected by their constant fluctuations, whether it be sattva, rajas, or tamas. To attain liberation, a person must cultivate sattva while reducing the influence of rajas and tamas. However, true liberation comes when one transcends even sattva and becomes free from attachment to all these three gunas. In this state, a person acts without being influenced by desire, ignorance, or the need for recognition, finding peace in the eternal truth of the self. In modern life, understanding the gunas helps individuals reflect on their tendencies and behaviors. Recognizing the influence of sattva, rajas, and tamas can guide one towards a more balanced and aware way of living, ultimately leading to inner peace and spiritual evolution. Shri Krishna in this chapter teaches to go beyond sattva, go beyond rajas, and go beyond tamas, and rise above all these three. Chapter 15, Supreme. The concept of the Supreme or Sarvocha in the Bhagavad Gita refers to the ultimate reality or the highest truth that transcends all forms and limitations of the material world. Shri Krishna, as the divine spiritual teacher, reveals himself as the Supreme Being, the Supreme Parabrahman, the source of all creation, maintenance and dissolution in the universe. This Supreme is beyond all time, space, and the transient nature of existence. It is the eternal truth, the essence that exists in every living being, yet remains unattached and unaffected by the material world. Shri Krishna explains that the Supreme is not confined to a particular form or name. It is present everywhere, in all things, and at all times. It manifests through nature, through the universe, and through the inner consciousness of every individual. The Supreme is the driving force behind all actions, thoughts, and emotions, yet it remains untouched by them. It is the ultimate witness that one observes without being involved, the force that sustains life without being influenced by it. One of the key teachings in the Bhagavad Gita is that to realize the Supreme God, one must rise above the ego, desires, and attachments. It is by knowing that you are the Atma one with the Supreme God. The ego is what creates the sense of separation between the individual self and the Supreme Self. Sri Krishna teaches that when a person surrenders their ego and aligns themselves with the Supreme, they experience inner peace, fulfillment, and inner liberation. This is the path to self-realization, soul realization, and God realization. The understanding that one's true nature is not limited to the body or mind, but is connected to the infinite Supreme God. Sri Krishna further explains that devotion to the Supreme God is the highest form of spiritual practice. Through selfless devotion or bhakti bhav, one can connect instantaneously and directly with the Supreme, transcending the limitations of the material world and experiencing a deep connection with the Divine. This devotion is not about blind faith, but about recognizing the presence of the Supreme in everything and everyone. It is about living a life of true humility, compassion, and divine service, knowing that the Supreme Being, the Supreme Parabrahman, exists within all the beings. The Supreme Parabrahman is also the ultimate destination for all the souls. It is the state of the eternal bliss, that is Ananda. The state of Satchit Ananda that lies beyond the cycles of birth and death. When a soul realizes its oneness with the Supreme, it attains liberation and is freed from the suffering and limitations of the material world. This is what is true detachment. This realization brings about a profound shift in consciousness, where the individual no longer sees themselves as separate, but as a part of the divine whole, the divine creation. In modern life, understanding this concept of the Supreme can help one cultivate a sense of purpose and inner peace. By recognizing that there is a higher power guiding the universe, and by aligning one's actions with that power, individuals can find clarity and fulfillment at all the times. And this comes with surrender to the Supreme and devotion to the Supreme. The path of bhakti or devotion is easiest and fastest to be in state of oneness with the Supreme Parabrahman. The Supreme is not something distant or unreachable. It is present in every moment, in every being, waiting to be realized through awareness and devotion. It is not outside, or you need not search it for anywhere, but when you go within you, be aware and develop true devotion, you will be one with the Supreme. This is what Shri Krishna teaches to Arjuna in this chapter. Chapter 16. Divine. The divine refers to the manifestation of the higher spiritual qualities that exist within all beings, as described in the Bhagavad Geeta. The divine qualities represent Anant Satguna, purity, righteousness, and a connection to the eternal truth. These qualities are what elevate a person from the distractions and desires of the material world, leading them towards a life of harmony, peace, and spiritual fulfillment. Shri Krishna explains that the divine nature is characterized by noble virtues such as loving kindness, compassion, mercy, forgiveness, pardoning, generosity, self-control, non-violence, truthfulness, humility, wisdom, industriousness, and moderation. These qualities align with the eternal laws of the universe and are the foundation for the spiritual growth of the Atman. Those who embody the divine qualities always live in an alignment with their higher selves and with the cosmic divine order. They act out of love and kindness, seeking to divinely serve others without selfish motives. Such individuals are free from greed, anger, pride, and attachment to the material world. Shri Krishna contrasts these divine qualities with the lower, destructive qualities that bind a person to ignorance and suffering. These include arrogance, deceit, injury, anger, cruelty, stealing, dishonesty, laziness, or excessiveness, and desires driven by the ego. The more a person cultivates the divine qualities, the more they move towards liberation and inner peace. Shri Krishna emphasizes that anyone, regardless of their past actions or prarabdha karma, they can develop these qualities through sincere efforts, devotion, and self-discipline. The divine is also a reflection of the individual's connection to the Supreme Being. It is the spark of divinity within each soul that drives the desire for goodness, wisdom, and love. By constantly nurturing this inner divinity, a person can transcend the limitations of the material world and realize their true eternal divine nature. This realization brings about profound inner transformation, allowing the individual to live a life of purity and always have divine grace upon them at all the times. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna teaches that living a life of purity, living a divine life involves not just performing spiritual practices, but also the way one interacts with the world. It is about living a balanced life where one's thoughts, words, actions are aligned with the higher truth. When one is equanimous, peaceful, with clarity and Vinamrata, that individual is aligned with the higher truth. Through meditation, selfless divine service, and truest devotion, one can strengthen their connection to the divine and experience the divine bliss and divine ecstasy that comes from being in harmony with the universe. In today's world, the divine qualities are more relevant than ever. In a world often driven by competition, materialism, and self-centered goals, embracing the divine within can lead to a more meaningful, compassionate, fulfilling, balanced life where spirituality and materialism are balanced, because both are different sides of the same coin. By living a divine life, one can truly manifest heaven on earth by practicing kindness, love, honesty, true humility, with proper self-esteem, healthy positive self-image, compassion, generosity, industriousness, and moderation in life, individuals can contribute to a world that is more peaceful and just, while also advancing on their own spiritual paths. Chapter 17, Faith. Faith or Shraddha is a fundamental aspect of spiritual practice and personal growth as described in the Bhagavad Gita. It refers to the deep trust and conviction one holds in the divine, in spiritual principles, and in one's own spiritual journey. Faith is not merely a passive belief, but an active living force that guides one's actions, thoughts, and attitudes. One does not have to have a blind faith by just superstitiously believing anything that is described in the Bhagavad Gita, but having the true faith by knowing the true knowledge and pure teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, which will eventually lead to the greater development of true, pure faith. In the Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna explains that faith is a driving force behind a person's actions and behaviors. It influences how individuals perceive the world, how they interact with others, and how they approach their spiritual practices. There are different types of faith, depending on the nature of one's beliefs and their alignment with the divine truth. The first is Sattvic faith. This type of faith is characterized by a pure and enlightened perspective. People with Sattvic faith trust in the higher spiritual truths and act with sincerity, humility, and compassion. This Sattvic faith leads them to follow righteous paths, be virtuous, seek divine knowledge, and engage in practices that promote inner peace and harmony. They have faith in the divine order and in their own spiritual progress, which drives them to live a life of integrity and dedication towards the divine goal. The second is Rajasic faith. This type of faith is driven by desire and ambition. Individuals with Rajasic faith may have a strong belief in their goals and aspirations, often pursuing success and power with intense focus and dedication to achieve them. However, their faith is often self-serving and attached to the outcomes of their actions. They live in rag or dvesh, and they seek rewards and recognition. Their actions are motivated by personal gain and ego. This type of faith can lead to restlessness, disappointments, and dissatisfaction if they do not get the expected results or they do not achieve the expected results. The third is Tamasic faith. This type of faith is rooted in ignorance and delusion. People with Tamasic faith may hold superstitious or beliefs that are based on misinformation, falsehood, or lack of pure, true understanding. Their faith is often misguided and leads them to follow harmful practices or engage in negative, destructive behaviors. They may be apathetic or disengaged from their spiritual path, often influenced by lethargy and confusion. Overcoming Tamasic faith involves seeking enlightenment and aligning one's beliefs with higher truths. Sri Krishna emphasizes that faith is just not a personal trait but also shapes one's interactions with the world. It affects how individuals approach their duties, handle challenges, and relate to others. A person's faith should be rooted in wisdom, humility, and a genuine understanding of the divine. True faith inspires actions that are enlightened and aligned with higher spiritual values and contributes to overall well-being and spiritual advancement. In practical terms, divine faith manifests in everyday life through one's commitment to their spiritual practices, their integrity in personal conduct, and their wholesome attitude towards others. By constantly practicing noble virtues, it encourages perseverance in the face of difficulties and fosters a sense of trust in their divine plan. By nurturing faith, individuals can achieve greater clarity, purpose, and fulfillment in their lives. Understanding and cultivating faith helps individuals navigate towards the complexities of life, but with a sense of divine purpose and divine confidence. It transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and aligns one person's or an individual's actions with a higher purpose. Faith is a dynamic force when guided by wisdom and compassion, leads to a deeper connection with the divine and a more meaningful, harmonious existence. Chapter 18, Liberation. Liberation or mukti is a central concept in the Bhagavad Gita and refers to the ultimate state of divine freedom and divine enlightenment that transcends the cycle of birth and death. It signifies the release from the cycle of rebirth, samsara, and the attainment of a state of eternal peace and unity with the divine. In the Bhagavad Gita, beloved God, Shri Krishna describes liberation as the realization of one's true divine nature, which is beyond the physical body and mind. This state of liberation is characterized by a profound sense of inner freedom, where the soul, the Atma, is no longer bound by improper desires, attachments, and the limitations of earthly existence. It is the highest goal of spiritual practice and represents the end of all suffering, pain, sorrow, and ignorance. Bhagavan Shri Krishna explains that liberation is achieved through self-realization, soul realization, God realization, and true detachment. Self-realization involves understanding that the true self is distinct from the physical body and mind and is inherently divine and eternal. Soul realization involves understanding that the soul is always one with God, one with its divine spark, one with all, and is of divine intelligence, divine love, and divine power. This self-realization and soul realization will ultimately lead the soul towards God realization. This realization leads to a sense of oneness with the Supreme Being and an awareness of the interconnectedness of all life. Detachment, on the other hand, involves letting go of worldly desires and attachments that bind the soul to the cycle of rebirth. It is not about renouncing the world, the duties, the responsibilities, but about performing one's duties and responsibilities with a sense of non-attachment, just focusing and being aware of the divine purpose rather than personal gains. By cultivating a sense of detachment and performing actions selflessly, one can transcend the limitations of the material world and move towards liberation and become infinite. and have infinite light, infinite love, and infinite power. Bhagavan Shri Krishna teaches that liberation can be attained through various paths taught by him, including the Gyan Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga, the Karma Yoga, and other forms of yoga. Each path offers a different approach to realizing the divine and achieving liberation, but ultimately they all lead to the same ultimate destination or ultimate goal. Gyan Yoga is the path of knowledge which involves studying the holy, sacred scriptures, contemplating the nature of the self and gaining insight into the divine truths. It requires disciplined study and meditation to understand the nature of the reality and the self. Bhakti Yoga is the path of devotion which is centered on loving and surrendering to the divine. It involves true devotion, gratitude, respect, love, reverence, faith, prayer, and service to God, fostering a deep and personal connection with the divine Supreme God. Karma Yoga is the path of selfless action, which emphasizes performing one's duties and responsibilities without attachment to the results. Yes, you can be successful in doing your duties and responsibilities, but without worrying about its results. You have to give your 100% and do the duties wholeheartedly, fulfill the responsibilities completely without procrastinating them or falling into the trap of attachment. It involves acting with a sense of duty and offering the fruits of one's actions to the divine Supreme God, and allowing the divine God to take over. Karma Yoga teaches that you are just a divine instrument and God is doing the karma through you. In modern life, the pursuit of liberation can be seen as a quest for inner peace and spiritual fulfillment. Yet, spirituality is not so spiritual. It is aiming at balancing all the aspects of life: your finances, your relationships, your self-development, and your spiritual development. It involves seeking a deeper understanding of oneself, letting go of materialistic desires which drag you down spiritually, and living in alignment with one's higher purpose constantly and always. By embracing spiritual practices and cultivating inner wisdom, all the individuals can move very easily, safely and comfortably towards a state of divine liberation and truly experience profound peace, joy, bliss and ecstasy. Liberation is not a distant or abstract goal. but an attainable state of being that can be realized through sincere effort and devotion. It represents the culmination of the spiritual journey and the ultimate union with the divine supreme God, bringing about a lasting sense of infinite freedom and the truest contentment. May God, Shri Krishna, instill these holy divine teachings into your being forever and ever. May you understand, remember, recall, practice and master these holy divine teachings taught by Shri Krishna and become a fully developed Atma, one with God, one with all. May God Shri Krishna always stay in your heart, be your guiding light, be your guiding love and your guiding power on all the levels and all the aspects and in all the areas of your life. May you be blessed by God Shri Krishna with infinite divine blessings, infinite divine energies, infinite divine consciousness, and perpetual divine oneness, and with what is best for you. God Shri Krishna's blessings always be with you. So be it. Kayena vacha manasendriyerva buddhyatmanava prakrute svabhavat karomi yad yad sakalam parasmai Shri Narayanayeti samarpayami. Shri Krishna Arpanam, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Radhe Radhe. Jai Shri Krishna.